Square roots, what are they? How do they work? We're going to talk about the very basics of them, just basically the definition of what it is. We're going to do a whole unit where we're going to talk about them. We're going to break them down into their component parts. We're going to add them, subtract them, multiply, divide them. We're going to solve problems with them. We're going to do a bunch of stuff with square roots, but not today. Today we're just going to learn what they are, okay? It's really the opposite of exponents. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a perfect square. And for today, we're only going to deal with when we have a square root of a number that's a perfect square. What do I mean by a perfect square? I can find two numbers that'll go into it. 9 works because that's 3 times 3. Okay, 4 is 2 times 2. 81 would be 9 times 9. 64 would be 8 times 8. These are things that you should just have memorized. If you don't have them memorized, let's work on them. Let's try to get them memorized, okay? So all square root of 9 means is I'm going to look down what two numbers go into 9. It's going to be 3 times 3. So my answer is 3. The square root of 9 is 3. What is the square root of 81? 81 is 9 times 9. So the square root of 81 is 9. Okay, so you're just looking for a number times himself that will go into this number, and that's how we get the square root. Now, a few things that you should know. Let's go square root of -4. Okay, well, what two numbers that are the exact same will multiply into -4? Well, you see the 4 and your brain says, okay, well, 2 times 2. All right, that's cool. So we got the 2 part, but what about the negative part? Well, -2 times -2 is a +4. I don't want a +4, I want a -4. Okay, well, that's -2 and +2. Well, okay, but those aren't the same. So whenever you have a negative underneath here, the answer is the world explodes, we all die, you can't have it. Okay, or we can just say no solution. All right, you cannot have a negative sign underneath a square root. Now, later on in Algebra 2, you'll learn that we can actually deal with it with something we call imaginary numbers, but that's not where we're at today. So for today, for Algebra 1, if you see a negative number inside of a square root, boom, problem done, not solvable, we're finished, okay? And that's how you deal with a negative number underneath, all right? Another thing is, what do you do if you have a square that looks like this? I'll go 9 over 25, but I'm going to square root the entire problem. Okay, so when I look at this, sorry, let me get this example out of the way. I'm getting a little bit clogged here. Just like the squares, you're going to do both the up and down. You can think of this, the square root sign, as if it's one big parenthesis. So on this one, I'm going to square root the top, and I'm going to square root the bottom. And that's how we do a square root. Okay, so just some very, very basic definitions. Trust me, we're going to come back to this and do a lot with square roots. But for today, you now know the basics of square roots.